Hi everyone and welcome to GDC 2017 in San Francisco. We are previewing Nuendo 8, the upcoming major release of the software for audio post-production, game audio production, immersive sound and dialogue replacement. And I have the incredible honor to welcome our friend Stephan Schütze at our booth. Hi Stefan.
Hey man.
How you doing?
I'm doing really well.
Great. Stefan will give an introduction on the new features and we see what's in there for game audio production, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I was given, lucky enough to be given an early sneak peek to Nuendo 8, and you know, new software is always like, oh yeah, they've added some new features, and that happens all the time. But I seriously, as soon as they showed me some of these, I'm like, I want this now. There's a bunch of new features. They've updated the Audio Connect for Wwise. They've added in a randomizer, which is a game sound designer. Randomizer is just so cool. There's a sample manager, which I really do want right now. So you can take sound files, you can drag them into the sample manager, and it immediately gives you a keyboard layout so you can use those samples directly in your musical project. What else we've got? Oh, this is really important. It's not sexy at all, but there's a new renaming feature, and it might not be sexy, but it is so handy. So that again is a really cool feature. For those of you who have not played with Nuendo 7 and now Nuendo 8 have Game Audio Connect. This is designed to interface directly with the Wwise Game Audio toolset. And so what it allows is for the project that you're creating in Nuendo 8, you can select your sound files, and it can be a single sound file, or you can batch select like we are here, a whole group of sound files, and you can drag them down into the Game Audio Connect window, and that basically will export all of these files from Nuendo directly into your Wwise project. So this is actually really, it takes out that step of rendering out, dragging them across, etc. Now, part of the features of this is that you can define which folder or which object in Wwise you're actually going to go into. So in this case it says interactive music hierarchy, and it's going directly into the root state of the interactive music hierarchy. But you can also actually create an object within the hierarchy, and you can basically, so if, let's just say I create, you know, music track number 1, and then you can actually export them directly into music track number 1, and they will basically be added to that sound object. But you can go further than that, because you can actually, you can kind of nest within an object. So I could have music track 1, and I could export 5 sound files directly into that, but then I could create another Wwise object inside that Wwise object and export down into that layer as well. So you've kind of got this tiered system where it allows you to basically export your sounds directly into any location within the Wwise project that you need. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at the renaming feature. And this is something that possibly not a lot of people know about. It's quite often in when you're doing games and you're doing dialogue recording. A lot of people will start with a spreadsheet, because that gives the engineers lists of all the words that are being recorded, the file names, the timings, etc, etc. So that's a pretty common thing. From most of your spreadsheets programs, you can actually produce a CSV file, which is a comma separated value. So we're going to have a look at that here. And so what this is all the data from your spreadsheet. So if we go back to the Nuendo, you can see that we have on that top line all of those. That was essentially one big recording, and it's been broken up into lots and lots of little chunks as we've edited them, and we've cleaned out any bits that we don't want, and we've ended up with, this is sort of all the final material. But what it basically is currently is it's a single file called M3 clean, and so when we've cut it up, we've just got M3 clean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all of these things. That's really not very useful for us to work in a game, and to manually rename all of those, I don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. So, check this out. We go into the rename from lists, and in here we can actually select the columns that we actually want to use to define them, and in this particular case we've got German voice ID, and we've got GE underscore, and we've got a whole bunch of names there. So those are basically the names that we're going to apply. So you can basically see that from the top of the list down, we're going to be applying all of these names to those segments that we've got. So if we process that, then what it essentially does is it does all the heavy lifting for us, and it will end up renaming all those files the way we need them to. So if we zoom in now, we can actually see that we have, look at that, we've basically got all our renamed files, and it's just taken us seconds instead of hours. So, you know what, now that I've looked at this in detail, it is sexy. Alright, so while we're on the topic of sexy, the randomizer looks like so much fun. So if you have a look what we have here is the sound files that we have in our animals thing is actually a duplicate of the same sound file. So yep, we've just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sound files that are all the same. So if we press play, it'd just be the same sound file over and over again. But with the randomizer being added into that channel as a plugin, what we've now got is the ability to change the values. So we've got pitch, impact, color, and timing, and we can change the values of those so that when the randomizer is applied in real time, if we press play on that, we will actually get a unique sound, and it's a unique sound every single time you trigger it. So, if this is linked to Wwise with our Game Audio Connect, then what you're getting is, when you export, you will get 8 unique sound files. So that's really, really cool. You can just spit out random files directly into Wwise. However, we can actually also do it so that we see the change here. So this is doing as an offline process, and now if you have a look at the sound files, as we change the values, you can actually see it's showing you clearly how each of those waveforms are actually changing. So you've got multiple different ways in which you can utilize this plugin. So the plugin itself is really, really cool, but more importantly, we have options as to how we want to implement it into our workflow. And so it just maximizes the flexibility that we have as creative people. This is the new sample control. So you create a new sample track, and then with the sample track and the sample control, you can literally just drag and drop a sound file. So this now is literally a sampler that we can work with. So you can see that down the bottom, we can actually define how long we want the sample to be. So we can trim the ends of it, and make sure that we're using exactly the bit we want. We can put fade-ins and fade-outs there, but then we can actually shape the overall envelope to get exactly, and it can be quite complex as well, because there's a fair bit of functionality here where we can literally shape the overall amplitude envelope of our sample. And of course you can see we've got the keyboard down there, so we're basically using this quite literally, and in fact you can change the range, so you can basically create a sample track that is only a couple of notes on the keyboard, or it can be a couple of octaves, or the whole range, and you can set this thing up so essentially you've got the sound file that you've selected, and you can then create a MIDI track in your project and use that sample as you would a sample instrument. You also actually have the ability with this to export it. If you have a look up here, we've got transfer to a new instrument, and you can actually export it so you can kind of save it as an instrument. Like literally, my main comment right now is I want this now, because I'm really, really excited about it, and I cannot wait to play with these things.